We have tried to warn the criminals in this city. We will no longer stand idly by and be victimized by your acts of criminality. We are going to stand up, we are going to defend ourselves, and we are going to take our city back.
Enough is enough, apparently. Today, one Detroit man took matters into his own hands to defend his home.
Now, someone tried to break into his house last Friday. He scared them off. When they showed up again today, though, it took a deadly turn. 7
Action News reporter Kim Russell is live at the home. And Kim, will this be ruled as justifiable homicide, or do we know?
That is the big question. When you talk to people who live here on Dexter, it's mind-blowing. It seems like almost everyone has been the victim of a burglar at some point in time. So they really emphasize with their neighbor who lives in this house and grabbed that gun today. And they are hoping that it is ruled a justifiable homicide. But when you talk to legal experts, there's a gray area. And it's not a yes or no answer when you ask, can you shoot a burglar? It happened while the sun was up and neighbors were out and about. The man who lives here often would have been at work during the day working for the city, but he was home when he says he heard a noise. He saw two men trying to break into his house. At some point, he called 911, he grabbed his gun, and he confronted the burglars.
If we can count on anybody, it's ourselves and God.
A neighbor who only told us her name is Frances says she was glad it ended how it did. The two thieves shot dead outside. Now the question is, will this be ruled a justifiable homicide? Or could her neighbor be in legal trouble?
Chief Craig has often said, good Americans that are legally in possession of firearms are defending their homes, and they have the right to do that. And we stand behind them in doing so.
But police still had to take the man in and question him for hours. The reason? Legal experts say they have to make sure he believed he was defending himself from an intrusion that threatened his life. If he didn't fear for his life when he shot the burglars, it would not be justified. The prosecutor will review his statements, but police say at this point, it appears to be justifiable.
He is a legal CPL holder. He is well within his right to defend himself at that point.
I think every law in the land ought to be backing him and anybody else up that's put in that position.
Now, after police dropped the man off at his home, I did knock on the door to see if he was willing to talk. He did not answer. He's definitely been through a lot today. Neighbors say he's a good neighbor. He keeps an eye on this neighborhood, that he's a hard worker, that he works for the city repairing cars, that he's an all-around good guy, and they have his back. Reporting live in Detroit, Kim Russell, 7 Action News.
Kim, I know you've been out there covering this. You may or may not know this, but when the guys left, whoever these intruders were and these robbers, when he shot them, they were out. What, on the front? He shot them in the back. Do we know? Did they fall? What position were they in?
We do not know where exactly on their bodies that they were shot, but I do know that they were shot next to the house, right behind that pickup truck that you can see right there, the GMC. Police say that he came out behind his house and confronted the burglars, and when he confronted them, there was a fight, there was an altercation, and that he shot them in that fight. And that's why police believe that if that's what happened, that this was justified, but of course they have to cover all their bases and send it over to the prosecutor for final determination.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for clearing that up for us. Kim, thanks for the live report.